farting around doing whatever.
You put different things on here?
Yeah, I bought new ones. I didn't like the ones that I had on there. They sucked.
I like these better.
Me too. They're more professional. A little less phallic too. So
we're upgrading our equipment.
I actually don't even remember.
Alex is actually disappointed that they're less phallic.
Yeah.
But
yeah, well, when we get to 40 listeners, wait until you guys see what happens to the equipment.
Oh my gosh. You guys, tell your friends and family to not listen to this podcast.
All right, Glory Friends podcast is back again. We missed 1 week because we were tired as shit because of Big Time Garbage Festival.
Partying so hard at Big Time Garbage Festival.
I also comprehended quitting everything that I do. All podcasts, all comedy, everything.
I think that's what it's like to put together several shows in a row like that. That's what happens.
And just be a regular adulting. Oh, that's cool, fun stuff.
Yeah, we were before we hit record on this podcast, we were talking about people who use the phrase adulting and how much not of an adult they are.
Yeah. You fucking babies. Stop saying adulting.
Laura actually said it's the gayest thing she's ever heard.
Yeah, it's something only a total gay would say. No,
oh my God, I'm so adulting today.
Yeah, so adulting. What I did say was, guess what? If you're adulting, you are also an adult. Which means this thing that you hate doing, you have some power to potentially change that. So let's try to make this horrible, quote unquote, adult stuff less horrible because, fellow adult, it's in your hands.
Yeah. And also, whatever you decide to do, don't fucking tell me about it because I don't care.
And adults typically don't use words like adulting.
No?
They usually speak the way language is meant to be spoken.
Yeah. As Alex said, when was the last time you ever heard your parents say adulting? And I was like, never. My dad was always just fighting people.
Mm-hmm. And now that I think about it, what my mom was saying was adulterer. Totally different.
Your mom ruled.
I was also, before we hit record, telling Alex...
Hashtag adultery.
I was telling Alex and Ray that this morning I threw my neck out. Like I can hardly move my head at all because I was shaking out a bath mat.
Now that's adulting.
Yeah. We used bath mats like for, go to your bed places for our dog. So I was vacuuming. So I picked it up and I took it outside to shake it because, we have lots of dogs. So clearly there's dog fur on it. And next thing I knew, I was just standing there holding it like the most frail, in pain bullfighter, just standing there holding this bath mat going, no.
Was it like a classic sitcom throw something out where you're like frozen in a position and you're like Carl Winslow? Just like,
that is what it felt like. But thankfully I do have some range of motion because that would suck. But I the only other time I've hurt myself to this degree was when I was trying to stir a compost bin.
What were you doing that for?
Because I'm a lesbian. You have to.
It's lesbian law.
If you know a lesbian that's never stirred a compost bin, they also have never gone down on a woman. I just think that's a
fact.
A
virgin ass lesbian.
Right. Oh, really? Let's see how you can do with that compost bin. I don't know.
You've never stirred a compost bin? I hate to see you eat pussy because it's going to be wretched.
Yeah, that is a prerequisite. Stirring a compost
You're literally eating it. That doesn't feel good.
Are you listening to this, straight guys? Laura is giving you the secrets.
And the secret is composting. And it's not really the secret. It's just my way to try to get more straight men to compost.
I didn't think you were like gardening stuff. I didn't think you were like a yard person.
You're right, Ray. In fact, I was trying to stir the compost bin that my ex-wife had put in our backyard. It was not my idea.
Yeah.
Just like the current compost bin I have is not my idea. I'll put stuff in it occasionally. That's fine. But it's not something where I'm like, what
do you put in it? Just everything?
Anything that's, like vegetable scraps or like eggshells, stuff like that.
Cocoa Pebbles boxes?
No, those go in the recycling.
Okay.
Yeah.
But the Cocoa Pebbles.
I think you could probably compost cocoa. I don't know. I've never tried it.
Yeah.
I'll have to ask Jane. She would know.
I never have leftover Cocoa Pebbles.
To me, I'm just like, you might as well put a little door on your compost bin and a little sign that says Rat Motel. It just makes me really nervous. But we've never had any problems with it, so that's fine. But at any rate, my point being, I threw my back out doing that, and that's the first time I ever went to a chiropractor.
Really?
Have you guys ever been to a chiropractor?
I used to go all the time.
Yeah, I don't know. I've always just thought they were It was like hokey nonsense.
Right? So did
My
I.
insurance covered it, so I was like, yeah, I'm going to go.
But isn't it like, it's just like things I've been told by like my dad. Like, it's like
best source for
it's
these
it's a scam because like once you go and they crack you the way they crack you, like you have to go back or you'll be worse later.
I'm not sure if you'll be worse later, but they definitely make it like they set it up like, okay, we need you to come back for regular visits so we can keep you in line or whatever.
After the first few, you should definitely go back because you're going to be really out of whack. But I don't know, like after so many times you go, you can probably miss a couple.
I feel like I need to go.
I went to this guy in Royal Oak and I really did not want to go, but like I was at work the next day and was just like, I had like no range of motion and was in so much pain. And people were like, chiropractor's your only hope, you know, and I worked with a bunch of gay people. So of course they were into that shit. And I was like, okay, I'll go. And I remember like they took all these x-rays, like I'm trying to like turn around so they can get like a million x-rays. I remember thinking to myself, this is going to cost a small fortune. Like they're taking so many x-rays. Yeah. And then I remember sitting in the room waiting for this guy, and there was one of his brochures on the table, and the front of the brochure was a picture of him adjusting, like doing that neck crack thing to an infant. And I just was like, that's like some balls right there in your skills. You're like, I'm not going to kill your baby. Watch this.
It's like those people that do yoga with their baby. Have you ever seen that?
I have not.
They're just like they're holding the baby by like the ankle, and they're just like their heads and stuff.
What?
Yeah, it's crazy.
This is a real thing people do.
Yep.
My ex-father-in-law used to tell us to take Ellie when she was a baby to a chiropractor all the time.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. He would just be like, you need to take her to I'm like, aren't her bones still partially jello? Like,
right?
Should they be being cracked? Was your mic fucking up?
Yeah, it was fucking up, so I switched to the fourth mic.
I don't think anyone would have known that happened at all, except that you guys wanted to point out these backroom shenanigans. Wait, that's a club.
That's Ray always looking for the back door, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so not true. When the chiropractor adjusted my neck and back, though, it hurt very badly. And I think partly just because I was in a lot of pain, but I cried a little bit, partly because I do that all the time. And I remember when the, like, I don't know, nurse or whatever came in and she saw that I was kind of wiping away tears. She was like, it does that to some people. It can be such an emotional experience having your first adjustment.
All right,
and I was
relax.
like, get me the fuck out of here. I can't do this.
See, then that's when they lose me.
I know.
Yeah.
That's when I was like, I'm never coming back.
Look, this isn't spiritual at all. Like,
no, I am in fearful and in pain. I think that's where these tears are coming from. Not this euphoric experience I just had.
what did it feel like? Like it.
Honestly, it just felt like someone was cracking my back and my neck, and it didn't feel bad, you know. And in a lot of respects, I could see that just kind of feels good. You certainly feel like you accomplished something.
It's just like cracking your knuckles.
Do you crack your neck?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it was it? Did he do it differently?
He did it more thoroughly than I could probably do it
like
myself.
A deeper crack.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I it just didn't win me over.
But it goes all the way down your spine, though. It's not just your neck.
Yeah.
He like cracks every vertebrae.
I went to one more chiropractor though, like later on, a few years later, because my ex-wife at the time was like, no, let's try this. This guy is really great or whatever.
The compost bitch.
Yeah.
That's your ex-wife.
Yeah. I did not say that. So afraid
that bitch
of her.
with the compost.
Yeah, that composting bitch.
But he used this little like thing where he would touch it to your like different points of your body. And it was like he was almost like pretending to give you a little shot. That's what it felt like it's a little flick, like with a little piece of metal. It seemed even more like you're not even trying to fool me. Like you're like, how little can I actually touch this person and have them think that I'm doing something therapeutic?
It didn't help that he went poop every time he did it.
Yeah, that was the noise. But I remember he's like, do you suffer from depression at all? And I was like, yeah. He's like, I can do an adjustment for that.
Okay,
like,
you're gonna crack
oh my God,
my depression
really?
out of me?
Yeah, yeah. I'm
You
just gonna
can't crack away my childhood.
Oh, exactly.
Nutcase.
I'm gonna crack away your parents' divorce. You're gonna be safe now, Laura. Crack.
He's like, do you have diabetes? I can I can adjust that diabetes for
I
you.
am willing to bet if you talk to this chiropractor, he would tell you that he could adjust for diabetes. Like, he seemed convinced that he could solve everything.
He's like, any signs of Lou Gehrig's disease? We can probably, that's like the 7th vertebrae down. We just got to turn it to the left a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yep, now you're cured. I honestly think a lot of it is just
Johnson's
like
HIV.
confidence and ego. Like, yeah, I could absolutely cure your cancer right now. Let me just flick you between the eyes really quick. That's all you have to do. This episode is brought to you by chiropractors. They want to be your doctor. A lot of them will wear a lab coat. Sometimes they'll help you, but maybe it's all in your head. Chiropractors. Some insurances take them.
Why is that why it's not covered by all insurances? Because it's not like recognized as like medical treatment?
Probably.
Yeah, most likely.
My guess is if you talk to anybody with, like an MD after their name, they probably don't go to the chiropractor. That's my guess. I remember my mom. I mean, my mom's a nurse, and so she's very much like steeped in Western medicine. Is that what our medicine is? Western medicine? Yeah, that's right. And she's not a big fan of chiropractors. She's like, whatever. But a lot of it is also considered like not essential. So it would be like, sure, it might have therapeutic benefits, but we only cover essential services.
Like birth control. That's why.
Yeah. For men.
And
only.
AIDS prevention.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just the essential stuff.
Yeah.
You know what's been bothering me, and maybe we talked about this already, but I've been thinking about it a lot lately. Why in the fuck do dentists exist outside of the medical field, like in their own little world? Like you could talk to an ER doctor and he's like, I can work on your entire skeleton except the part that shows. Someone else has to work on that part. It doesn't make sense to me, and it stresses me out. Like, why? It's
like when they invented medical. Like, I sound stupid. Like, we're gonna invent medical school, but it's like the people that are going to like, I do everything, but I don't want to touch teeth. Like,
right?
It's just
ghosts live in teeth.
Get a lesser doctor. Mm-hmm. And that's all he does.
Well, really, when the time that like Western medicine, I guess, was invented, they still believed all kinds of dumb, hokey shit. So maybe it was something that dumb where they were like, the teeth is where the devil lives, so we won't touch those, but we'll just put leeches on the rest of your body.
That's why they were okay with teeth falling out back then, because you were getting rid of the demons.
I bet you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You should do a crossover and talk about this on your podcast. What's your podcast called, Alex? Plug it.
That's
teeth
bullshit, right?
Teeth are the devil with Alex and John.
It's actually called That's Bullshit, Right? With John Mahar.
So I think you should look into this conspiracy as to why dentists have been pushed out of the medical realm into their own little, their suicide rate is so high. Do you think that's why? Maybe because they feel isolated from the rest of the medical professionals?
I don't know, but at the cool table in the cafeteria.
We can have you on an episode and we can explore this further.
I like it. Yeah. I like it. Stay tuned for that, folks.
Yeah, that is weird. Why is the suicide rate so high for dentists? Like,
it is also very high for veterinarians and people who work in shelters and stuff too. That makes more sense to me because you get compassion fatigue.
Yeah, you're just like, fuck.
Yeah, at the
dentists get paid a lot of money and live a fairly empty life.
I do think that's partly what God, that guy who killed that lion was a dentist. I think it tells you everything you need to know about how empty they feel.
Like, you just think it's like not fulfilling work and like everyone hates you.
Yeah.
Like
no one likes coming to see you. No one takes the insurance that you guys take. No one can pay out of pocket.
The only way you can feel alive is to kill a lion and stuff it and put it in your man cave.
My dentist sends me text messages all the time, like not personal, like hey, but like they'll just be like they'll send me reminders that I need to come back, and then they'll be like, but then like on my birthday, it's like happy birthday, right? I'm like, all right, you should try too fucking hard.
Right now, I'm picturing you like being woken up at like 1 a.m. to the sound of a text message, and it's your dentist, and it just says you up.
Yeah. My girlfriend's like, who's texting you this late? My dentist.
It's my dentist. Don't worry about it.
It's that State Farm commercial. Yeah. But with like text.
Oh, speaking of shelters, you guys, I saw something in the news this week. And I'll be honest, I typically try to avoid rage reading anything. I'm not a hate reader. I just don't do it. But I hate read this article so hard. And it was this. The LA City Council right now is considering a proposal for the animal shelters there to go vegan.
Like
the dogs would be fed a vegan diet.
Do people know that dogs aren't like
they eat
they're
meat.
Not supposed to be vegan.
Like
they have
right?
fangs.
Now, the argument being made by these people, who I might add include Moby.
God.
I'm making such a hard fist right now, you guys. I feel so mad about this.
Her fist is round like Moby's head right now.
Yeah.
Moby sucks.
Although I think I have more hair on my knuckles than Moby has on his head, is my guess. But I digress. He's one of the people who's putting forth this proposal, and one of their arguments is that dogs are omnivores, and so could survive on a vegan diet.
They probably could.
Right? Right? I like that. Could.
But if you fucking asked, it's just gonna...
When a dog is out in the wild, what is it looking for?
I foresee
vegan kibble with a completely balanced nutrient table.
I can see it just chewing on all the leaves in the forest.
Well, Bain and Gomez did eat a lot of grass in the backyard.
Yeah,
so.
and dogs...
Just like a cow.
Dogs totally are omnivorous. I will give you that. Totally. They're omnivorous. But if you look at a picture of a dog's digestive tract and you put it next to a human's digestive tract, one of the main differences you see is how much less intestine they have. And that's because they don't need all that crazy intestine that we do to break all that food down, because most of the food they eat is meat. And it goes right through their system, and they use all of it basically.
Raw, but also bloody meat.
Yeah, exactly.
When they eat the grass, though, isn't that just to help their digestion? Like, they're not getting nutrition from grass.
No.
I do think some dogs just like the taste of it and will eat it. But yeah, I would say it's roughage more than anything else.
Yeah,
well, Bain
it's not them being like, oh, I'll just eat this for dinner tonight.
Yeah, Bain has also eaten glass and wood, so
right. Not
grass
that finicky.
is not out of.
I mean, glass is vegan, right?
Yeah,
right. Moby wants to feed the animals in the LA shelters the glass. Everybody, please write hate mail to him.
Please troll Moby and tell him he's a piece of shit on Twitter.
Right.
It's just gonna be like most dogs in shelters are pit bulls, and it's just gonna be like a rash of attacks now, just because they're pissed. Like, oh, pit bulls are maniacs. Like, no, they're trying to make us be vegan, so we're going to fucking kill everybody.
The veterinarian, like the lead veterinarian for like LA County or whatever, like had to basically like counter this. And I think it's a man. He wrote some really poignant, very well worded scholarly stuff, but essentially it boils down to this. This is going to create so much more shit. Oh my God. Which is true. Because again, if you feed an animal raw meat diet, like if you feed your dogs raw, they don't go to the bathroom that much. I mean, they'll go as often as they're supposed to, but the amount is much smaller. Basically, the more vegetable product you put into your dog's body, the bigger their big jobs, as I call them, become.
So cute.
If you feed a dog a vegan diet, so basically you're telling shelter workers, guess what? For the good of the planet, you have to clean up twice as much shit as you used to clean up. I'm sorry. I don't know if you've ever spent time in an animal shelter, but that is so much big jobs.
It's like they took a poll or like, what do you guys like doing least at the picking up poop? Let's double it.
Guess how much of a wage increase I'm sure these shelter workers are going to get?
Zero.
Yeah, to clean up twice as much.
And why? And for why? Just so
to make Moby feel good.
Yeah, fuck Moby.
Now, one of the arguments is
Moby's a hero. Okay, he's bringing nutrition to dogs.
Let's feed Moby to the dogs.
The pet food industry is just a dirty byproduct of the human food industry, and we're feeding dogs the meat that we discarded that we didn't think was fit for humans. Yeah, we totally are. Yeah. I don't have a huge problem with that.
They love it.
Mm-hmm.
But what,
as Ray mentioned earlier, wood and glass are also things this dog has consumed and was not coaxed to do so.
My shoes, all sorts of things.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
His own feces.
Mm-hmm.
We have an apple tree in the front yard, and our dogs always go grab an apple and bring it to the back and eat apples. So
I think that's adorable.
So they like apples, and Keith gives them a carrot as well. But like, we don't only feed them fruits and vegetables.
Right. And there are certainly
people.
Keith
and Alex are gay. So
right. So if anyone's going to feed their dog a vegan diet, being a gay man is only once removed from being a lesbian woman. So it's about 75% likely that a gay man would feed a vegan diet. 90% likely that a lesbian would.
We share like 97% the same DNA.
Mm-hmm. Except for the penis and vagina parts.
The 3% that we don't share is where the bathhouse factors in.
Yeah. So yeah, that made me super, super mad on so many levels.
The lesbian bathhouse is just a bunch of ladies stirring compost.
Yeah. That's what we call it. Oh my gosh. So yeah, I'll be honest. When I was in, I don't know, 98 probably, so like in my early 20s, I thought Moby was awesome. I loved Moby. I listened to Moby all the time. And he had an album called Everything Is Wrong. And in the liner notes of that album was like, basically like...
Dogs should be vegan.
Kind of things like, every day 7 killer whales die because they're sad because the earth is exploding. Just like sad little like things that Greenpeace would tell you kind of stuff. And I remember like it really did stir a lot of like, little activist Laura toward like being vegetarian.
Those are all things that would make me like him less.
I know now. I think if I read that, I just would like be like, I hate this fucking guy. Even though I still believe most of that stuff, like I'm still extremely liberal and really care about animals, and I am a vegetarian. But good Lord, I am so sick of liberal white people. Like,
yeah, the worst part about something like that is you're focusing on the whale and you're trying to save the whale, but if we just focused on humans and how fucked up we are and tried to fix that, a lot of these problems that other species are having would go away.
That's true.
Mm-hmm. Now you've woken up activist Alex.
I like activist Alex. I know Ray hates activist Alex.
Anyone that makes anything better.
I didn't even listen to that last episode because you said that.
Wow.
I can't sit here and listen to Alex talk about being an activist.
It was 30 seconds of the episode.
Well, it ruined the whole goddamn podcast.
If it felt that bad, I would have just cut that 30 seconds and just put it on, scrapped it, put it on the cutting room floor.
No, I just want everybody should know.
So a whole slew of new accusations and new men in the men are scum pile this week.
My favorite is Mario Batali.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I did not know who he was, and I'm like, I think I've seen his name at the grocery store.
And you're like, if he wasn't a famous chef, he'd just be another dude with a greasy ponytail wearing Crocs, harassing women.
He sure would be. Yeah, I saw a picture of him, and I was like, okay, yeah.
I've always felt weird about him. Like, I don't know,
he's a big, fat, fucking gross dick. Like,
yeah. And it's not even like a good fat. It's like second stomach fat. You know what I mean?
It's not even a good fat.
No, like
Alex,
there is a good fat, but like when when you've got your stomach and then below your stomach you have another stomach, that's not a good fat.
The worst offense though are the Crocs.
I didn't know he wore Crocs, but I would agree with
exclusively.
That.
Only, like he's fucking sponsored by him.
Oh really?
I don't think he is, but he wears them.
Oh my
like
God,
he
I want
is.
that to
Like
be
it's
true.
always like orange or fucking.
Well, if he was sponsored by them, not anymore.
Yeah, he's gonna get dropped by Crocs. They would embrace it.
Yeah, the official shoe of pedophiles,
the shoes of harassers,
of abusers.
Do you guys listen to NPR at all?
I don't listen to the station, but I listen to some of their podcasts.
Okay, On Point. You ever listen to On Point?
No, I haven't listened to
I've been listening to it a little bit more since I've been on it.
You were on Point with Tom
I was
Ashbrook?
on.
He was on Terry.
NPR.
He was interviewed by Terry Gross.
Wow, I missed your Terry Gross interview. I can't believe it. Oh yeah, you were. You were on WDET.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, one of the most recent accusations, which I think just came down today, was Stephen Henderson, who writes for the Free Press and also hosts a show called, I think, Detroit Today on WDET. And he's sometimes a guest on like various national news shows, like representing the views of Detroit. Mm-hmm. I really like him and think he's super smart. He was just fired from the Free Press today, and they haven't released like details about what the accusations are. But I was like, good damn it, Tom Ashbrook from On Point as well. He's a national news dude. But I really like his show. He's a really smart dude, but he also is like on leave right now as they investigate claims against him. And it's just like every fucking day. And then the Great American Baking Show. Did you guys hear about that?
No.
I've never seen it. I have seen the Great British Baking Show because I watch it a lot with my girlfriend. But the Great American Baking Show, one of the judges or hosts was accused of something apparently so heinous that they've canceled the rest of the season and they're not going to air any of the episodes. They've only aired like the first 3 episodes. Wow. So the people who were contestants on this show are all going, what the fuck? Like, you didn't let us talk to our friends and family about this? Like everyone wants to know who won. Like, this is like a big deal. You have to fucking air those. And ABC's like, no, we can't. So people are really pissed and like starting a petition to try to get the rest of them aired. I think whoever this fucking guy is, I don't know because I don't watch the show. I think they should use whatever money he's been paid and is owed to edit his fucking face out of every episode, and then CGI. They should air him.
CGI.
Yeah, I think that's totally a fair compromise to be like, the money spent doing this is going to come right out of this guy's pocket.
CGI, like the poop emoji on his head,
right?
And then every time he talks, just have fart noises,
or the angry emoji that they've been using for net neutrality.
Yeah, totally.
Just CGI that on him.
At what point?
Or even just like blur out his face and make his voice really
Chris Hansen style.
Yeah, exactly. I think that he's like, I like cookies. I like it. I think that'd be great. And we can all laugh at him.
I have wine coolers in my trunk.
Right. And he's going to feel like an asshole, which I want. So that sounds great. But no, instead they're just going to cancel. So everyone loses because this guy is a fucking piece of shit, it turns out.
What other, who else was there? Was there anybody else? Any more accusations? I heard Larry King too.
Really?
Yeah.
That does not surprise me, but
I was listening to a podcast where the lady that accused them said that they were taking it was actually like one of his friend's wives. They were taking a picture and he slid his hand down her pants and just put his fingers in her ass crack.
What?
And then as soon as the picture was done, he would just like pull his hand out and
I am so thankful that no one has ever done something like that to me. And I don't even know like why you would consider that an acceptable thing to do to somebody. Like, what the fuck's wrong with you?
I don't know.
That picture should have been that woman in a blur about to punch his glasses off. But unfortunately, that's not the world we live in. Oh, 2 more NPR ones. What's his name?
NPR's going down.
Yeah, for real. Who's the hope? Oh, what's the guy from Prairie Home Companion?
What's it? I can't
remember.
Garrison Keillor.
Yeah.
And then also John Hockenberry from The Takeaway.
I feel like I heard this one.
John Hockenberry from The Takeaway and Garrison Keillor from Prairie Home Companion are 2 of my least favorite people in NPR ever. And I'm not going to lie, when I heard that they were both being accused of this stuff, I was like, yes.
Yes.
Thank you. And now, goodbye. I don't need you guys anymore.
Prairie Home Companion just sounds like something insanely boring.
It fills me with fury. I hate it. I really do. I love NPR. That's the only show that I will just turn
monotone off. Talking about like what is it about? What is it?
It's just like folksy country music.
It's a quaint old-timey radio show with everything from I have shoes on my feet and I'm pretending to make walking sounds. They do a stupid radio play to fucking bluegrass musicians who never want to hear do anything live.
They had that movie a couple years ago. It was like a documentary kind of, I think.
I did not watch.
Keith made me go to the theater for that.
Wow.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. No, I hate it. I hate Garrison Keillor's singing voice. I just want to punch him. Yeah. Every time that, that's one of the reasons I knew like that my girlfriend Jane and I were like definitely supposed to be together, because one of the first times we were in the car together, I turned on my car, we were going someplace, and as soon as like the radio is always on, as soon as the car started, Prairie Home Companion started, and within 3 seconds we both went nope and slammed our hands down to turn it off at the same time.
And your hands landed on top of each other,
and I was like, this is fate.
You.
Some romantic music started playing. There's an app that you can download on your phone. It's a dating app that's based on the things that you hate.
That's fantastic.
So it matches you with people based on the things that you two hate.
Nice. Hey, wherever you can find passion, I guess, even if it's in hatred.
But there's he got accused of stuff, I guess, a couple weeks ago, but today some new allegations came out against Russell Simmons.
Oh, okay, yeah.
He's like full blown like Cosby rape and stuff. That sucks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's denying it like fiercely, but like there's allegations out there that he's He's forcing himself upon some women.
Jesus. It's just again, as a lesbian, I have managed to sidestep so much of this bullshit in my life, and I am very thankful for that. And and I don't mean as in like lesbians never get sexually assaulted or harassed. I certainly don't mean that. But I have been lucky enough that I haven't met very many gross, horrible guys who've thought, yeah, I could totally get away with some shit here. I think all of them were like, no, I'll end up in court. She's not going to ever drop that.
Well, I've heard you say that before, and you were like, thankfully, like, like you, I know, jokingly, you're like, I look so much like a lesbian, guys won't try it. But like my sister-in-law, now brother-in-law, transition, she was a very, male-looking lesbian for a long time. And that almost attracted it, like abuse, like, oh, you just need to, learn. And, oh, you want to like from like sexual abuse and sexual harassment to even like just like full blown, like, I'm just going to beat you up.
Right. Yeah.
Do you want to act like a man? I'll fucking treat you like a man.
Totally. And I think part of the reason that I don't get that as much is because I'm not like a big imposing like butch woman who I don't think men feel threatened by me in that way, which I'm thankful for. But
it also happened at a lot like bars and stuff too, and you don't really hang out at bars.
I was walking into a Meijer one time, and there was a lesbian couple walking in front of me, and one of them was kind of butch, and the other one was like total lipstick lesbian. I mean, she was like hot. She was barely wearing any clothes.
Tell me more. I'm just kidding.
And they're both walking in like holding hands. And there's a father and like a son, and the son's really young. They're walking out.
And he covered his son's eye.
The son just bought like a video game or something, and he's like, and then we're going to go home and we're going to play. And he's just like excited about this video game and talking to his dad. And his dad is paying no attention to him, just staring at the lesbians, just like going, just like staring at them.
Yeah, we're going to play. All right. Yeah, we're going to play.
Yeah,
is that derogatory, butch and lipstick lesbian? Is that?
I mean, I guess anything can be derogatory depending on the way you say it.
Those are our words.
Yeah.
Okay.
The way I always say it is,
I'm a straight white man. I know I can't say anything.
Right. When I used to do like sensitivity kind of trainings a little bit, that's not what we called them, but I would go to like doctor's offices and talk to staff about like how to talk to gay people and make them feel comfortable in your clinics. And one of the things that happened a lot is people would be like, I just don't know what to say. I'm afraid I'm going to say the wrong thing. And so that would basically just make them look completely homophobic because they would hardly make eye contact or talk to the person.
I'm not talking to you.
Exactly. And because I'm a good person, I'm just going to pretend you're not here and avert my eyes. But reflecting back the language that people use themselves, I think is always the best way to go. So like if you hear someone refer to themselves as butch, that's probably pretty fair that you can use that word.
Yeah.
So that's kind of
I've heard trans people say tranny.
Totally. Yeah. Again, it depends on the person and your relationship with that person.
So I'm taking that as I can say.
I'm taking that as I can yell tranny at whoever I want out my car window. So I guess
we can all say the N-word now.
Goddamn tranny.
Yep. So this episode is brought to you by the word tranny. Use it at your own risk.
I mean transmission for your car.
Yep. I mean, that is definitely, I would consider a more derogatory term. Most people probably would. And partly because most of the time when that word is used, it's used in a derogatory way.
Yeah.
But just like gay people will call themselves queer. Like when I first started working in like the gay and lesbian community back in the early 2000s, there were a lot of lesbians and gay men like older than me who do not say that word around them, do not call them queer, do not say queer. Like to them, that was like a swear word, like you're saying something derogatory to them. Whereas the younger kids, like in the youth group, were all like, we're queer, what? And it was really interesting to see. And I remember even talking to some of the older people about that. Like that word's been used against us for so long. I can't even imagine reclaiming it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking about like my dad used to like, he would always have like hot rods, and like we would go to, when I was younger, we'd like go to the racetrack and he would race and stuff. And on more than one occasion, like, he would like make a pass down the track and like come back and he had like blown his transmission. and like my dad yelling, "I blew my goddamn tranny." I wish I could go back in time now, knowing what. So I can just make fun of him.
That's fantastic.
That's we talked about that a few episodes ago, right? Like people unknowingly saying things like that.
That might have been your other podcast.
No, that was this one.
I'm not remembering this.
Mr. Trying to have hurt feelings about someone having another podcast.
No. I don't have any other podcasts.
That's my character. It's called Blaine Hill.
Just a bit.
He's only one that doesn't have another.
You didn't use the N-word though. Yeah. So.
Let's keep that habit going. I would like
of
that.
not using the N-word.
I like it.
That's a good one.
It's good. It's a solid.
I will have I had a story about the N-word. It was not like my mom was having gallbladder surgery. I was in, I would say, 7th grade. And so my little brother was probably in 1st or 2nd grade. And so my mom was in the hospital for quite a few days. So it was just me and my little brother and my dad. And he let us watch Boys in the Hood. Nice. And like in 7th grade, I was completely immersed in hip hop and black culture. Like all I wanted was to be a rapper. And like, so we watched Boys in the Hood, and me and my little brother started calling each other the N-word because of that movie. Because that was the first time I'd ever seen it used as a term of endearment. I'm like, oh, fuck yeah, that's cool as hell. They're calling each other.
I thought you were just about to use it right
No. I won't slip. So we were just saying it for every little thing. What do you want for lunch?
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And my dad was fucking losing his mind.
I'm sure.
And he finally snapped on us. We went to the hospital to visit my mom. And I got out of the front seat and I flipped the seat up so my brother could get out. And I'm like, get out of the car. And my dad just fucking lost it on us. Like he like held me up against the car by my shirt. And he's like, you gotta fucking stop. Wow. Which is weird coming from someone that I've heard say the N-word not in a term of endearment.
By influence by Boys in the Hood.
Yeah, but he takes careful precautions to make sure there are no other black people around when he says it. You guys are just carelessly throwing N-words out there. And
like me just being a fucking dumb white kid, I'm like, this is, everything I see Ice Cube do is cool. So I'm going to do it.
Yep, totally.
I was over my friend's house one time. His parents went to dinner and his babysitter was there. And his dad, like he had Do the Right Thing, and he told us we could watch it. So we're like, all right, sweet. Well, we're gonna watch Do the Right Thing. So they only had a TV in his parents' bedroom, so we went in there to watch the movie. And the babysitter's out there doing whatever she's doing, and all of a sudden she just hears like the N-word just emanating out of the room, and she comes running in there, and she's this old Polish lady, so she doesn't know, you know what I mean? And she's just like, no, you cannot watch this. This is not for children. And she like made us stop watching, and we were so pissed.
Oh, wow.
You guys were like, you old ass N-word. Old ass bitch.
Polish ass bitch.
Laura, have you ever used the N-word?
I don't think so.
No N-word stories?
No. I mean, I did once. I remember my dad being furious with me once when I was in like junior high. So well before I was out. I looked so gay, but I was not. I was a confused 8th grader.
Just like a regular.
But I had like posters of LL Cool J up in my room. And my dad wasn't really fond of that. And, he used to always be like, no, I'm like super liberal. I'm fine with everything. And I remember once being like, black men are just more attractive than white men, which is true, you guys. And my dad just was like, don't say that. And I remember being like, fuck you, like getting really upset. Like I doubt I said the F word to him, but just really feeling like you're being racist and whatever. I'm a fan of New Kids on the Block, and they taught me that I should love everybody and that black people and white people are equal and that I'm not buying this. And then really I'm like, oh no, I just like girls. So it was way easier to make my dad
you're
mad
like
with LL Cool J posters. I don't know.
I just picture you like a family dinner, and you're like, my significant other's gonna come, and then a woman walks in, and your dad just goes, "Oh, thank God."
At least she's not wearing a Kangol. All right.
Both pant legs are down to the ankle. All right, good. We're good.
I think what made me gay though was because I did think LL Cool J was super hot, and I loved LL Cool J. I still love a lot of his songs. I used to listen to the album with Mama Said Knock You Out. I used to
that was
listen
my
to
favorite
all the
one.
time. Round the Way Girl. I love that song.
Yeah.
At any rate, I then saw him on MTV Unplugged.
Yes.
And he had so much deodorant stuck in his
Yes,
outfit.
that fucking drove me nuts. At first, I didn't know what the fuck it was.
I think that's when I was like, no, lady bodies from now on. Lady bodies. I'm not into
At
this
first,
at all.
I was like, did he like, because he was wearing a sweatshirt, and I was like, was that like fuzz from his sweatshirt? And I was like,
Antiperspirant.
it's so distracting.
I'm sorry, LL, you'll never live this down.
Yeah.
He's like, I want to forget about that. Oh. So yeah, that's about all I can come up with. I mean, you did see that video that I played of me and my sister dancing to Salt and Pepper. So I mean, we clearly were a little bit influenced by like hip hop culture, but we were the worst like little white girls about it. Like we had no idea. I had no idea. I loved Kid and Play. I used to listen to a lot of hip hop when I was younger, but I didn't listen to hard stuff though. Like if there was a lot of swear words in it, like basically Public Enemy, I like Public Enemy, but like Ice Cube and Ice T and stuff like that. A lot of it was just too sexual for me. I still don't like. I can't listen to like
Ice T was a lot more sexual than Ice Cube was.
Slick Rick, I used to love Slick Rick, but some of his songs were too dirty for me.
I was listening to like a lot of old Ice Cube at work last night, and it's so goddamn good.
I bet I would like it now, but back then I really did in many respects feel like he didn't make this for me. Like I can't relate to any of this. I'm a little white girl in the suburbs.
In high school on the basketball team, in our league, we had a lot of Lutheran schools. We had like 5 or 6 Lutheran schools in our league, and we were playing one team, and they would get super quiet. It was during this is when I was on JV that we were watching the varsity game. It would get super quiet when they would shoot foul shots. Like if somebody got fouled and they were shooting foul shots. So I had this little Walkman that had an external microphone on it, and me and one of my other buddies on the team, we would sit there and we would play Automobile by NWA as loud as I could on the external mic during foul shots. And you could hear it, like you could clearly hear it through the whole auditorium, but everybody just acted like it wasn't happening.
I don't even know that song. I mean, that's how unfamiliar
It's very
I am
sexual.
With, yeah,
It's
I doubt I'd
about
like it.
having sex in the back of an automobile.
Okay.
Yeah, and Too Short was one that was like really.
Oh yeah,
that was another one that
sexual.
I was just like, this is too dirty for me. I can't.
Yeah.
Even when I had an office job and I worked in advertising, you know, there were times where it was just so slow. You basically had nothing to do, which is ridiculous because you always had to pretend you were really busy. And so I was like, okay, I don't have anything to do this week. Esquire just put out this 50 albums every man should own list. I'm just going to listen to every single one of them on Spotify and write a review of them just to see, you know, because some of them were things I was familiar with, but a lot of them were like, you know, old staples that I didn't know, like Van Halen. Like I don't know a lot of their old early albums and stuff. So it's like, let's give this a shot.
Van Halen.
And one of the albums on there was Notorious B.I.G.
Yeah.
And so I listened to that for the very first time, like, so in my mid 30s. And I had headphones on. No one else could even hear it. And there were times where I was like, oh no. And I would just have to turn it down. I was just so embarrassed. I could not. I don't know. And I know some people are totally fine with that stuff, but it makes me so uncomfortable. So that kind of rap music is just not really for me. I'll stick to.
You're like that with comedy though, too.
Yeah, I think.
I see you shaking your head all the time when I'm on stage.
Which is funny because it looks like you're just like, nope, you're not good.
No, it's totally not. I don't even know I'm doing it. Like, but if a joke's really dirty, I will be like, oh no. I think I'm trying to etch a sketch it out of my brain. The picture that it's been
dirty. Made. Dirty. It's like sexual jokes, poop jokes, and period jokes. You're just like you're like.
I'm getting better though.
Yeah,
I'm getting better, especially with. I don't know.
It's the worst, like knowing your reaction to those jokes, and then knowing your mom is sitting right in front of me, and I'm doing those. It's always weird.
She probably has a higher tolerance for it than me, to be fair.
I wanted to talk about this with Laura. We talked about it with you already on Big Time Garbage.
Oh, I thought you were going to be like, Alex, turn off your microphone. This is
All right, I'll see you guys.
Yeah,
Alex, could you leave
go
the
in
room,
the bathroom
please?
and shut the door. The Quix's Women and Queer show that was part of Big Time Garbage Fest. Matt was sitting with me by the T-shirts, our friend Matt Richards, and we were watching Alex, and he said it was like Alex's Def Jam set, because it was like people were just like so like, yeah, gay stuff. But the gay rape joke.
Oh, I knew. Yeah.
And thankfully you saved it for last, because I don't think you could have got him back.
No. As soon as you started that joke, I was like, oh, I don't know that this is going to land here.
It's a fucking great joke.
Yeah, I know.
It's one of my favorites.
But I also know, like, at a place like the Trumbleplex,
Yeah.
you say the word rape and everyone's going to be like,
No.
oh, no, we can't.
Who would have known at a place that's militantly against straight people wouldn't have liked hearing a joke about gays raping straight people?
Yeah.
They just didn't they didn't understand the nuance of it. They should have given it more of a chance.
But I've heard usually when someone like bombs with a joke like that, usually it's like you'll hear like muttering or oh no, like fucking silence.
I think it's because people were like,
Like-
oh, he tricked us.
Yeah.
I think that's really what it was.
Like not even, they're just like no, absolutely not. Like not even like muttering in disbelief or like gasping. It's just like, you're done now.
Yeah. As soon as you started that joke, I was like, oh, here we go.
So I asked him before he went up, I go, are you going to do the joke where all your gay friends rape Dave? He's like, yeah. I'm like,
I don't care.
You had something earlier in your set, not that I want to like dissect your set or anything, but I thought it was really funny and something I hadn't heard you do before. And I'm trying to remember what you said. Something about looking like a 18th century chemist.
Oh yeah, that
or
was
something.
new. That was new.
What
that's a good tag.
I said it's in the beginning when I talk about like not having a gay face.
Okay, yeah.
And I was like, I don't know if you guys know this, but what's big in the bear community right now is looking like an 1800s physicist.
That's what it was. That made me laugh really hard. I love that. So there you go, everybody. There's a really good bit of Alex's to make up for his horrible rape joke that everyone hates.
Yeah, now I can't do that bit anymore.
Now that Laura made Alex tell his joke on a
really
national
didn't mean to.
podcast, he's got to retire it.
on a podcast of 35 listeners a week.
Hey, how do you guys get more listeners for your podcast? Call in and tell us how to do that.
Give us some tips. We need help.
Yeah. If you share this podcast and a friend listens to it, you're probably going to go to heaven.
Are there like
spitballing here?
Are there like Reddit forums with just like gay people in them? Put it in there. You guys are both gay.
I don't know. I did notice though that a lot of people promote a lot of stuff on Reddit.
We should change formats and like it's just you guys putting me in check.
We just scold the straight white man every episode.
We'll get more
that is
listeners.
what we do. Yeah.
But don't do it at the Trumbleplex.
No.
Yeah.
Honestly, though, aside from that was such a great show. That was super
Yeah,
fun.
it was really
Aside from me.
Well, no. I mean, that was like such a blip. Like the whole show was so great that was just like not even a big deal. Like I didn't even remember that until Ray brought it up. So blame Ray.
Yeah.
Ray just doesn't let go of shit.
I'll always bring it up. No one will ever forget that. The time Alex did a joke to complete silence. I liked seeing you and Deanne up there together. That was fun.
I'm glad I convinced her to do it because at first she was like, I don't know if I'm even going to go. And I was like, come on, let's do a set together. It was really fun.
Yeah,
and I would actually, and since Deanne's one of our few listeners, Deanne, let's write some stuff and we'll do a set together. Call me back.
Yeah, I missed that because I had to hurry and get the Sellermans.
Yeah, I didn't.
And start up a stand-up showcase that literally no one was at.
Oh, well, I'm glad you rushed.
Everybody was at the Trumbleplex. So.
Yeah.
Look, it was our first fest. We got some logistic bugs we got to work out. But
and we will work them out and we will make them not bugs. We'll make them good things.
We will make them vertebraes.
These are not bugs anymore. Yeah, there's definitely some stuff we got to change, but
overall, it was so fun, and I
was
think
good.
Ray
It was a
especially
lot of fun.
did such a good job.
Yeah.
The Saturday night was fun. Todd Barry came to, I always want to say UFO Factory. Outer Limits.
Outer Limits.
Yeah, because Outer Limits was a show about alien abductions when I was
I remember that.
Sort of X-Files-y.
Yeah. Because it was on Channel 20, right?
Yeah.
It was Outer Limits, and then right after I think was Tales from the Dark Side.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
used
did
to watch
not watch
both
that.
of them.
Yeah, Outer Limits and Tales from the Dark Side.
I never liked scary stuff very much, so
It was like hokey scary though.
I kind of like hokey scary. I may have liked it. Do you guys remember Richard Scary?
No.
Count Scary?
Yeah. Count Scary, yeah.
Yeah.
My brother used to always... My brother's older than me, like 10 years older than me, so that was like right in his wheelhouse.
Yeah.
But he does a dead-on fucking impression of it.
My dad turned me on to Count Scary when I was a little kid, and we used to watch it every Halloween.
That was just a local thing, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah.
It's actually very hard to find much of anything about him on the internet because it was this guy who dressed like a vampire. Do you know who he is, Alex?
I don't know.
Would they play horror movies? Did he like host like a show around?
Yeah, and I think he did stuff
kind of
around
like
Halloween.
Up All Night, like Gilbert Gottfried used to do.
I think I do remember this vaguely. I don't.
They always go, "Ooh, that's a scary."
Yep. And my dad used to do that, and we used to laugh.
Yeah.
Richard Scary, though, speaking of, that's a totally different Scary. He's a children's book author, and
they're unrelated.
Totally unrelated. But as a child, I loved Count Scary and Richard Scary. And I can't remember what any of Richard Scary's books are, but like all of his characters are animals, like who wear clothes and ride cars and stuff. So it's like stuff going on in a city, but all the people who live there are animals. And one of them was
Scary is his alter ego, and that's what he'd be called when he harassed women.
Book. Mm-hmm.
He became vice president.
There was a primate of some sort that he drew and you guys might know this particular monkey or ape or whatever. It has like a red and a blue stripe on its face.
Yeah.
And
isn't it like a baboon or something?
Perhaps. Yeah. I'm not totally sure, but as a kid, I used to really like that character because his face was really interesting, and he was one of the bad guys. And I remember he did something that made another bad guy mad, and they called him a nincompoop. And so that's what I thought that animal was called. I was like, oh, that's a nincompoop. It's not. That's an insult.
Yeah.
It's not what a monkey's called.
That's great. The stupid shit you think is real when you're like, oh, that's what that's called. No, absolutely not. That's not even close. You dumb little turd.
Oh, kids are dumb.
Kids are dumb.
Yeah, it's so true.
We're at like 52 minutes, you guys. Do you want to...
Yeah, we can.
We can wrap it up. Our audience has had to endure enough.
Do you do the plugs now? You guys do the plugs early in your other...
That's because John like starts to get nervous if it gets quiet for too long, and he just like freaks out.
Are we done now?
Oh, okay, we're gonna do some plugs now. Oh wait, we still have 30 minutes. Oh
yeah.
Shit. Okay.
You'll find a rhythm. It'll get there.
Yeah, I don't know what plugs. What do you got? What do you got going
Comedy
on,
Show. Mm-hmm. Comedy Showcase is back after a 1 month hiatus because of Big Time Garbage Fest.
Yeah, January 4th.
Yeah, Thursday, January 4th.
It's gonna be a good one.
Yeah, we got Matt McClowry, Trey Stewart.
I can't wait.
Ben Langworthy.
Oh, good. I haven't seen Ben Langworthy in a long time. Awesome.
Ben's going to be on it.
January 5th, that's a Friday. We are doing a show for Matt McClowry at Sellerman's. And then January...
Matt McClowry weekend over here.
Yeah. And then he wanted to do like a New Year's Eve thing at Sellerman's, but we couldn't. His schedule didn't line up with it. But and then January 6th, the Saturday right after that, is our normal showcase at Sellerman's.
Sweet.
We'll have Robert
so you're doing 2 in a row?
Yeah, we're doing 2 in a row.
Cool.
We'll have Robert Jenkins on the Saturday showcase.
Nice.
Yep. And a bunch of other people as well. That's all I got. I don't know.
That's it, man.
That's
all
plenty.
right.
Yeah, I don't get put on any shows. It's just
I don't know. It's fucked up, man.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm too mean.
Hey, if any of the 35 that listen to this when it goes up, if any of you book shows.
Yeah, if you guys have shows.
Just send Ray a DM. Slide up in them DMs.
All three of
Ray.
us.
Yeah. But mostly Ray. He deserves it. He works hard, you know.
That's not true. That's a joke that Alex wrote.
All right, we'll end it there. See you guys.